How do you stand out in a crowded marketplace? That is what we're going to be discussing today. Hey, it's Wayne, founder of Ugly Mug Marketing and author of Full Circle Marketing. In this video, we're going to be answering the question of how do we actually stand out in a crowded marketplace. And see, over the last 15 years, our agency has grown year after year, while the time that I spend actually working in the agency has decreased. And here's the craziest part. We're in a town with a population of 48,000 people. The next biggest town is about 70, 80 miles away, and the population there is only like 115 or so thousand. So we've had to learn to stand out not only in a little marketplace, which is probably easier, but we've also had to learn to stand out in a national marketplace, all the while being based in this little tiny town that most people have never heard of. And if you're curious, that's Alexandria, Louisiana. So let's dive into how do you stand out regardless of how busy your marketplace is. Now, I need you to listen carefully to this. This is going to be important. What I'm going to share with you first, you're going to hear it and you're going to want to tune it out. You're going to want to ignore it. Now, how do I know this? Because I was the same way for almost 7 years when I started this agency. When I started this agency, I ignored these core things that I'm going to talk about first. And ignoring these things prevented us from growing at the rate and at the scale that we could have. You see, before I paid attention to these things, we were stuck competing just here locally, maybe a little bit regionally. But once I actually paid attention to these first things I'm going to talk to you about, everything changed for me. Now, not just me. The same has happened with all of the clients that I've worked with, all the clients that our agency has worked with. When we get our clients to pay attention to these core things first, everything else changes. So what are these things that I'm talking about? You have to get clear on your vision, where your organization is going. Number two, your mission, which explains why does this matter? Why does it matter that we're going after this vision? Next would be your values. Your values are like the guidepost along the path to your vision. They let your team know if you're on the right path or they're not on the right path, right? They're these posts that show up that say, here's how we make sure that we are heading in the right direction. So what is your vision? What is your mission? What are your values? And then below that would be, what are the expectations that you have for your team? Are they crystal clear? We have to start with these 4 elements, because if we don't have these 4 elements in place, none of the other stuff that I'm going to share with you is going to matter. These are the critical things, because here's the thing. When you look around the landscape, let's just take marketing, for example. The marketing field has never been more competitive. There's never been more quote unquote marketing agencies, although you could easily argue that most of them aren't actually agencies, but there have never been more marketing agencies than there are today. And yet we continue to grow from right here in this little town. And here's why. Because we have a very clear vision of what the future looks like for us. And here's the beautiful thing for you. That vision is completely and totally up to you. It doesn't have to be the right vision for other people. It doesn't have to be the vision that your friends, your colleagues, your parents, your coworkers, they don't have to endorse your vision. Your vision is yours, your organization's vision. What is the future that you're trying to create? Now, a couple quick notes on visioning. Number one, we believe in writing out a detailed vision that describes the future in detail. And we typically work 3 years in the future. So we'll create a vision that's 3 years out in the future, and we will describe in detail what the organization looks like, feels like, sounds like, what's the team like, what's the environment like, what are all these elements that take place. This isn't a plan. This isn't goals. This is literally just a description of what that future is going to look like. Because until you are clear about what the future looks like, the future that you want to create looks like, you will just be wandering around. You will be reactive in everything that you do because you don't know exactly where you're going. It's like that old quote, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And that is where I see so many entrepreneurs that we work with. They don't know where they're going. Yes, they want to grow, but that's it. They don't know anything else about it. They just want to grow. And the problem is everyone just wants to grow. So if you want to stand out in a crowded marketplace, you have to have a vision. You have to have a vision that inspires you, that excites you, that inspires your team, excites your team so that they can come behind it. Next is this idea of the mission. Why does any of this matter? Why does it matter that we reach our vision? That is what the mission says. So, for example, our mission is to help entrepreneurs sleep better at night, to help entrepreneurs sleep better at night. So you can learn a lot about us and our organization just from that one short mission. What does that tell you about us and the way we choose to operate, right? It means that we don't necessarily focus on one type of service or one type of product, that we want to do whatever it takes to help entrepreneurs, who are our clients, sleep better at night. And that is our mission. Now, below that will be the values. Now, here's the thing about values. Values often feel like just platitudes. They feel like fancy words that we put together in a document, we put together on our wall maybe, and we leave them there, and they really don't mean anything. Here's what I've learned over the years, that a value isn't a value until it costs you something. Let me say that again. A value isn't a value until it costs you something. So for example, at Ugly Mug Marketing, we say that we value creating remarkable experiences. But if we never spend money, if we never spend time creating those remarkable experiences, do we actually value creating remarkable experiences? The answer is no. So for you, you could talk about you have a value of people first, but if you as a leader pay yourself first, do you value your people more than you? Is it people first? Again, all of these things trickle down. All of these things build the base or the foundation for your culture, your organizational culture. And the key to standing out in a crowded marketplace is to have a culture that is vastly different from those around you, from those in your competitive place. And what exactly is this thing called a culture? Well, culture is the foundation or the soil in which everything else takes place. And your job as an entrepreneur is to be the farmer of the soil, to cultivate this soil so that you can plant your people in the soil and they will nourish, they will grow, and they will flourish. And if your people grow and flourish, your business will do the same. So you have to have this vision in place. You have to clearly define your mission. You have to elaborate on your vision and your values. And here's the next thing. Culture matters a lot. Peter Drucker once said that culture eats strategy for breakfast. Back in 2020, this thing happened around the world, right? A lot of the world was shut down due to this particular virus that went around the world. And here's what is an interesting thing about that. All of the great businesses going into that year, 2019, they'd spent the time planning for 2020. They'd put together strategic plans, goals, all of these things for how they were going to dominate in 2020. And then March rolls around, and what do you think happens to all those plans, all those goals? They immediately go out the window because everything has changed. The world has changed. The environment has changed. All of those things have changed. And the people who had a great culture were able to adapt, were able to transform, were able to move and shift quickly, in most cases more quickly than those who had a great strategy or great goal. Why? Because the culture can change, it can adapt, because it's clear about the future, it's clear about where we're going. So if you want to stand out, you've got to get clear on these things. Now, I spent a lot of time on these things, and the reason I spent so much time on these things is this: they make the biggest difference when it comes to standing out. When your clients can sense, and they can sense the difference between you and a competitor, they're more likely to do business with you. Think about it. If you've ever been in a store, like let's say it's a small boutique store, you can probably sense and feel the environment, right? When you walk in, you can feel if it's high energy, low energy. You can feel if the people are going to be helpful and want to help you, or if they feel annoyed that you're actually in the store, right? How many of you have actually been in a place like that, where you go in and you can sense that they're annoyed that you're actually in the store, right? I've been in some of those places. Your clients feel and sense the same things about your business. And without the vision, the mission, the values, the expectations that define your culture, you are leaving the most important elements up to happenstance, up to chance. And what I can tell you is your competitors who are taking those things seriously are going to dominate in the field and in the industry. So that's step number one. We have to get clear on those things. Number two is we have to learn, if we're going to dominate in a crowded marketplace, we have to learn to leverage our existing clients. We have to learn to leverage them. And so I teach, it's in my book, Full Circle Marketing, but I teach what's called the natural progression. This is the way that all consumers, regardless if it's B2B, B2C, it doesn't matter, industrial, none of it matters. This is the way that every single human being makes purchasing decisions. I'm not going to spend time walking through the whole thing, right? You can grab a copy of the book if you want to learn more about it. This is where I want to spend the time, though. Most people spend all of their money over here trying to attract new clients into the business, right? They spend their money on ads, on cold outreach, on salespeople going door to door, trying to get new people to become clients or customers. Nothing wrong with that, but if you want to stand out in a crowded marketplace, you can't do what everyone else is doing. And trust me, this is what everyone else is doing. If you want to stand out, you have to do something different. And here's the different thing. You have to learn to turn your customers or your clients into evangelists for your brand. This one concept will completely shift the way you think, it will shift the way you operate, and it will shift the growth trajectory of your business for the foreseeable future. Here's what I mean. Most people, they get a customer, they get a client, and then what do? They move on looking for the next customer or client, right? They want to get somebody back into, if we use the term funnel, back into the top of the funnel. That is what every single person is doing. What if instead you chose to turn your existing customers or clients into evangelists for you? What would that look like for you? What would that do in terms of growth for you? Here's what we know to be true. Your best customers come from word of mouth or from referral. That is where they come from. It's one of those two places. So the question is, what are you doing to turn these customers into people who love you so much that they're willing to go out and tell other people, tell their friends, their family about you? I would say that what I want you to do is think about in terms of attracting and converting your previous or current customers into evangelists. What percent of your marketing budget is spent on this side, trying to go find new people, bring them in, get them excited about your stuff, get them to do a needs assessment or whatever it may be, versus what percent of your marketing budget is spent over here on existing or previous clients, turning them into evangelists for you? Think about that question for a second. Think about where your marketing dollars go. Now, regardless of your answer, if you want to stand out in a crowded marketplace, I want you to start moving more and more money from here to here. I want you to start moving more money from going out, finding new people, trying to convince them to do business with you, to treating your existing customers and clients in such a way, delivering your product or service in such a way that they absolutely love you. They love your brand. And this can only be done if you are crystal clear about what their expectations are coming into the relationship. In other words, what are their expectations before they sign on the dotted line, before they pull out their wallet and hand you money? What are their expectations? When you're crystal clear about their expectations, it now becomes easy for you to exceed those expectations. The only way you can turn existing customers into evangelists for you is to exceed expectations. So to stand out, I'm going to recap. We've got to get clear on our vision, our mission, our values, our expectations, because our goal is to turn all of our customers, all of our clients into evangelists, people who love us so much, they cannot wait to go tell other people about us. When we do this, we enable an army of people to go out and share with other people. I don't know what industry you're in, but here's what I do know, that probably 99% of all of your customers have this little tiny device that they carry around in their pocket, their purse, their handbag, whatever it may be. And on this little device, they have the ability within a few seconds to share with the world what they think about you and your business and your products and services. This little device obviously is a smartphone. The question is, what are you doing as an entrepreneur to leverage the fact that all of your customers have this device? All of your customers have the ability to talk favorably about you. But this is never going to happen. You're never going to stand out. You're going to be like everyone else if you do not have a way to get your customers to become evangelists. And it starts with, number one, exceeding expectations. Number two, you have to let them know that you value their feedback. You have to let them know that you value them telling other people about you. Some businesses, you may choose to incentivize this, right? You've probably seen this maybe with e-commerce, where you check out and on the thank you page after you check out, it says, hey, share this on social, share this with your friends. They'll get a discount off the product. You'll get a coupon for your next purchase from us, right? You can incentivize people, but the only thing that matters, the most effective thing is this, that you just keep your name and your message top of mind for them, because you want to enable this army of customers to go do your work for you, to go do the evangelizing, to go do the sharing for you. And when you do this, you will end up in connections and connecting with people and places that you would never have the ability to connect with before. So I started this by saying, like, we're in this small town, population 48,000 people in the middle of Louisiana. And from this little location, we've been able to stand out so much in our marketplace that we've worked with New York Times bestselling authors, that we worked with some of the fastest growing companies in the entire world, that we've worked with some of the biggest named celebrities in the entire world, all from this little place in Alexandria, Louisiana, population 48,000 people with a team of around 10 people. How have we done this? It's not because we spend the most money over here on marketing or advertising. It's not because we do more stuff on social media. It's not because fancy or because, I've got all these personal connections. No, it's because we started treating our customers in such a way that they couldn't help but tell other people about us. That immediately separated us from all our competitors, because all of our competitors, what we know to be true, as soon as they deliver the thing, like let's say we build a website, as soon as the website launches, what are they doing? They're out looking for the next website. They're out looking for the next person to come in the door that can continue this cycle over and over again. So if you want to stand out in a crowded marketplace, get clear about what future you're trying to build, what future you're trying to create. That is your vision. Then you want to get clear about, why does this matter? What is your mission? What are your value? What are your expectations? That's a huge one. I don't have time to go in this video. If you're interested in that, leave a comment. If enough people are interested, I will do a video just on expectations for your team. Those expectations are the way that we've been able to grow year after year, while at the same time my hours working in the business have decreased year over year. It's because of the crystal clear expectations that we have. But most of all, I hope that you'll take what you've learned here and apply it into your business. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how this is making a difference and how it's helping you stand out in a crowded marketplace. See ya.